Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about increasing your ability damage up to 3 times the amount. Just like yesterday's video with the weapon damage, I thought I'd go more into depth about ability damage and how you should be looking at your mods. It's going to be similar to yesterday, but slightly different as well. We're going to start off with valby, and then I'm going to show you some stuff on freyna as well. And essentially, it is just about the specific mods that you need to have. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go all through here, boom, and you can see that at the moment I'm doing 9,671 damage on a normal tick of this. And I also should show you this move as well. It's a little bit less damaging, but it is part of what we're going to be going towards. So 1955 on that. This is basically your big AoE move that you can put down. Look how much distance I have between them, and the people will slip on it and then take damage as well. A lot less damage, but it's definitely viable. So how do we go about making this stronger? We're going to go down to Descendant module, and you can see that I don't have anything to improve damage on. That's just the base damage that this actually does. If we go down to the bottom here, you can see I have already put some points into specific things. Non-attribute specialist, dimension specialist, and also technician. We're going to talk about all of them. But first off, let's read about how you can tell what your character needs. So if we go and highlight their skills, you can see that above bubble bullet there, I've got non-attribute and fusion. So if I was to do non-attribute specialist mod and enhance that, and also do the fusion 1-2, put them both onto the character, this move will do incredible damage because you're getting the buff on non-attribute and on fusion as well. Same with this, except it's non-attribute and dimension. And this move, the big move that we did that was a lot of damage, is non-attribute and dimension. This one over here is non-attribute and fusion. So you want to aim for whatever moves you are using the most. This cleanup is going to be what you use the most on valby, 100%. So you want to get non-attribute and dimension power. So it was about 9,000 damage, if I remember rightly. I'm going to only put on the non-attribute specialist. Mine's been powered up to be 50% more damage. So let's do this, and then we go over here and we go woohoo. Now you can see that I'm already doing an insane amount more of damage, especially on the critical hits as well. So nearly 14,000 damage from 9,000. So that one little buff that I put on put me up 5,000 damage per tick on multiple enemies as well. Now let's throw the other one on as well. So we already had the non-attribute specialist, so now we're going to go down and perk up the dimension 1-2. So we can save that. Boom, boom, boom. Now when we do it, you can see that the damage is way higher to 19,000. So that's another 5,000 on top of what we just had, just by putting on 2 mods and enhancing them. Utterly insane. Let's use this over here, and you can see the difference with that. So that went from a very small amount to nearly 8,000 per tick as well. Now, that's not to say that the other ones are pointless now, because if we go in, we can still see that these are still non-attributed skills, so they will still get buffs from the non-attribute mod. So you want to be putting on a mod that goes with all of your specific skills, and then another mod on that goes with your most used, most powerful skills. For me, that's dimension. And if we use the LB and A one really close, you can see that I do nearly 62,000 damage, and then a whole bunch of ticks as well. So I'm getting huge damage increase from just those 2 mods together. You can also swap one of these out for technician. There are some classes I think that don't have a specific mod to increase one of their 2 choices. So technician is what you would put on instead, and we're going to show that on freyna. So on freyna, we're going to use this here. Boom, 12,000 damage, and then it ticks out for 3,600 little ones. Like, you can see that you get quite a bit of damage just off the very base level of her attack. We go over into her Descendant module, and we are going to go on and equip her Toxic Specialist, which I have put up quite a bit to 53%. We're going to throw that up there so we get the discounted price. We're going to save the changes, and now you can see a dramatic difference in the damage that we are doing. A huge difference already with just 1 mod. But then we're going to also equip that technician mod, and you can see the absolute ridiculousness that this goes and does to the class when you add it on. So let's go find technician. Boom, boom. Save. And then kapow. 21,000 on initial hit, 7,000 per tick, plus an extra 3,000. So I am doing some insane damage here. And I want to throw out the toxic pool as well and show you that. So let's do that. So the toxic pool is a little bit different. It doesn't actually do any impact hit, but you can see that it ticks for quite a lot, quite often, and it lasts longer. So it's doing fairly decent damage, about 5,000 to 6,000 a tick on each enemy. And now we get to buff that up. So with just the toxic specialist, you can see that it now goes up to about 10,000 a tick. I'm hitting him for a 5,400 and 3,700. So there is already a double in terms of the amount of damage this does, and it hits more people more often. So it's just a phenomenal DPS AoE attack. Now let's add in that technician as well and see what happens next. Boom. So now we are hitting for 7,735 and 6,000 behind it. So you can see that the damage just stacks up dramatically when you put in on the right mods. If I went and upgraded that technician mod to about 50%, which I just haven't got around to doing yet because I don't have the Kuiper shards, I would be doing insane amounts of damage. And if you get them all maxed up to the top, I mean, look at this. This is doing silly damage because it's also tech and venom. Like, absolutely just utterly insane. So you really need to go and look at that's my thunder cage, or what was going on then. You really have to go and look at your Descendants moves and see what attributes you need to buff with mods. I'm going to show you very quickly just lepic for the hell of it. So the reason why I wanted to show you lepic is I have yet to upgrade his Descendant modules that buff up his power. So if I just take this technician off, for instance, we are going to go in and we are going to just throw a grenade. That's not a grenade. We're going to use this one instead. So we're going to throw that there. And you can see we're doing, it was a 15,000 on hit and we're hitting for 2,500 and 3,000-ish. So let's now put on one simple little mod, the technician mod. And before we test that skill, you can see that his abilities are fire and tech and fire and singular, and fire and tech. So the two ones you're going to be using the most are the fire and tech ones for your simple grenade throw, and then on top of that your overkill, which is his big damage. So we have now put that technician on. Let's see the difference. I can't even tell. That happened so quick, but we are definitely doing more damage when we do that. And the reason why I wanted to show you lepic is I don't have his fire enhancement or fire specialist, whatever you want to call it. So I wanted to just show you his basic attacks with just the technician is already dramatically higher when it's slightly buffed. So you really need to be going in and looking at your characters, what their moves are, what abilities you'll be using, and what mods correspond with that to enhance them. That just means now that when you do figure it all out, you will enhance one of those to the absolute max, and then you'll drop a few others. So if I was to put technician all the way up, I would probably have to drop regeneration boost, maybe a cold antibody. I had that on for one of the bosses. So to make room for extra damage within the technician mod or any of the other mods we've seen today on any of my characters. And that is how you basically increase your damage to a dramatic amount through your abilities. If you want to know how to do this with weapons too, I made a video yesterday, so make sure you go and check that out. And if this helped, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, like it on Facebook, tell someone by fax. I don't know. Thank you for watching. I've been Easy Now. You guys have been awesome.